Have you ever been driving somewhere, maybe to work or to school, and on your way, you stop at a red light, you pull up at a red light. Now, naturally, if you're not scrolling on Instagram Reels like a normal person, I don't do that. You might look around at the other cars that pull up with you. More specifically, you might look at the people that are driving those cars. Now, imagine in the lane next to you, you look over and there's this guy, some tough dude in a lifted F-250, definitely not compensating for anything. American flags hanging off the back. And you look at that guy, and then on the left, you got a lady turning left, and she's in a tiny little Prius, and she's all like up on the wheel like this, like it's trying to get away from her or something. Then you look across from you, and there's some dude in shorts and no t-shirt wearing a motorcycle just asking for something to happen. What may happen to you in this moment is you may have this sudden realization that, hey, all of these people are also living their lives, just like me. They all have places to be. Maybe the dude in front of you on the motorcycle is just headed to the pool, and that's why he has no shirt on. And the lady in the turn lane, maybe she's just trying to make it to the library in one piece. And as for the guy on the right next to you, he's probably headed to a furry convention because he secretly is a very famous and wildly successful furry content creator. Anyway, in a moment like this, you may realize that all of these people are just as complicated as you. They all have their own complicated life. They're all the main character to their own individual stories. Now, the pretentious person's name for this feeling is Sonder. I want to look something up, but Hey Google, define Sonder.
According to dictionary.com, the feeling one has on realizing that every other individual one sees has a life as full and real as one's own, in which they are the central character and others, including oneself, have secondary or insignificant roles.
There you go, that's the actual definition. Now to me, while this realization is really cool, it's also kind of scary. Like, what do you mean everybody else is just as real as me? Like, I understand that. I sort of assumed that. But when you really sit down and think about it, man, there's like 8 billion people out there. There's no way they're all real. There's no way. Like, some of them have to be NPCs. Some of them have to be like philosophical zombies or just filler characters. It's insane. It's insane to think about that. Everyone who is currently living and everyone who has lived and will live is just as complex and sees the world exactly the way I do. Now, this feeling for me was particularly strong when I was solo traveling in Asia. Because over the course of 6 months, I was in 7 different countries, going to many, many different cities, meeting hundreds if not thousands of people and interacting with thousands more. Sometimes I would sit back after a long week of traveling where I'd hit 3 cities and made a bunch of new local friends and other travelers, and I would sit there and I would just think that, wow, like, my story, my path led me there, but so did theirs. Their story, their path, like, what are the odds? One thing to note is that if you're not careful, this can quickly lead to an existential crisis. The pure scale, the sheer vastness of this concept is a lot to take in. It's a lot easier to just pretend that it's only you, that nobody else is real. But if you're careful, I think this can actually play a pretty big role in helping you be a better member of society, a better friend, a better child, a better sibling, a better partner, whatever it is. Because the more you think about this realization, the more time you spend really pondering just how extensive everyone else's experience is, it helps you realize your impact on their lives, even if you're just a side character. I mean, think about the side characters in your life. How many times is your mood affected or your thoughts changed because of a side character? I'm doing quotation marks, but you can't see. A side character. I know for me personally, as much as I try to pride myself on being completely independent and not caring what people think, that's a lie, and I do care what people think. And so when you're able to realize the complexity of everyone else's existence and the ways that it's similar, if not the same, as your existence, then you are able to change the way that you might interact with people. It really helps you embrace, in my opinion, humanity and the importance of being a better human. I will say, I can admit that I've never been perfect and that there is way too many times than I'd like to admit where I've been a less than kind human being. And I think that that lack of kindness sometimes comes from that automatic perception of people as less than conscious or less than you. Because automatically, there's the reason that the word exists. Like the whole reason that the term Sonder exists is because the default state is to not really think about it. The default state is just to assume that you're the one and only true conscious being. After you interact with humans for a certain amount of time, it becomes pretty clear that that's not true. If you get close enough to someone, it's pretty obvious to tell that they're also conscious like you. So with all of that being said, the reason I like Sonder, and I think that it's an interesting concept, is that I think that it is really useful. I think that it is very helpful. I think coming to that realization and accepting it and really kind of internalizing it helps you be less of a self-centered and a more human-minded person. I would urge you to really sit on this idea. See if you can come to this realization on your own. Obviously, it's not really the same. It's not really the same if it doesn't just hit you randomly. Go take a drive on the freeway and just look at the pure amount of people that are all going to their own individual destinations. Likely none of them know each other and will never meet each other, but they're all real. Every single one of them. A huge moment for me that happened recently. I was in Japan celebrating the end of my 6-month journey. And in Tokyo, everyone knows Shibuya Crossing. It's the most serviced crosswalk in the world or something like that. Like something like a few thousand people per minute use that crosswalk. Over the course of a day, hundreds of thousands of people use that crossing. And that's absurd to me. People from all walks of life, tourists from every country, commuters from all across Tokyo. It's absurd. And when I was walking across that street, maybe I have some footage. I'll put some footage up here. When I was walking across that street, it was unreal. It was unreal. Every single one of those people have their own stories. They've lived an entire life and have a whole catalog of memories of their individual experiences. And it's all theirs. And it's only theirs. And each person is a complex human being that can think and philosophize and scroll TikTok for hours a day. But they're all real. And that is cool. That's really cool. And in moments when I realize that, in moments when I really feel that, it helps me feel more connected to the people around me, more connected to not only the people that I don't know, but the people that I do know. It helps me feel a certain sense of sympathy. Anyways, I don't know if I have much more to say about this. Just thought it was a cool topic. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, maybe interact with some of your fellow humans in the comments, express your extreme realization that you've just had, I'm sure, from watching this video. Without further ado, I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say, so. Who's a good kitty?